Hello, I'm Dean Atta, and today I'm talking about writing poetry. Reading poetry. If you're going to be writing poetry, you need to be reading poetry. I can't stress that enough. Read, read, read. Within that, I'd also include, watching poems, performance poems online. So watching all the spoken word poems you can, but also reading poetry books. So whether it's old stuff, new stuff, following blogs and journals. As a writer, you want to be reading everything you can get your hands on, all forms of writing, all genres of writing, because you never know where your inspiration is going to come from. Some books that I would recommend you read that I've really loved reading are Happiness by Jack Underwood, Physical by Andrew Macmillan, and Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth by Warsan Shire. I think all those books are very different to each other, quite accessible, but definitely very personal in their content. And I think if you're the type of person who wants to tell personal stories, I think those books are ones to check out for sure. A daily writing practice. I know that sounds quite intimidating to write every day, but I don't mean necessarily hours each day. It might be just 10 minutes, whenever works best for you, whether that's first thing in the morning, last thing at night, on your lunch break. But make sure you can write every day at some point. Try making found poems. If you find an interesting news story or just an interesting piece of text that you come across, you can reorder or use those words to make a poem out of it. Free writing, so if you hear something or read something that sparks you off, just write and write and write. Just don't give yourselves any limitations to what you're going to write. Just see what comes out. If you do that for a set period of time each day, whether it's 10 minutes each day, you can get some really surprising things. Writing after poems that you like. So hopefully you're reading poetry, and if you see a poem that you really like, you might want to try and copy something of that poem. That's okay. If you ever publish that poem, you have to recognize that you did that. But if it's just for yourself, just go for it. You might want to buy a book of prompts. There's loads of great ones out there. Also loads of websites that list writing prompts. For example, you can find some great prompts on the Pangaea website, so look for those as well. Workshops and retreats. I've attended a lot of workshops recently, and it always gives me loads of ideas, not only for my writing, but also for my teaching, because I teach workshops myself, but you're always looking for new inspiration. So going to workshops is really good for yourself as a writer. Go to workshops of people that you like. Obviously, if you like their poetry, great, go to their workshops. But even people who write really different stuff to you, they're going to have a different perspective and be able to teach you stuff you might not otherwise have picked up on. If you can get a weekly or a monthly meetup with some friends who write or some people from your local area who write, do it, go for it, because again, the inspiration from each other will be really fantastic. Retreats, sometimes we can't always afford to go on a writing retreat because they're not cheap. But if you can save up to go on a writing retreat, maybe one a year, that would be so beneficial. That time away where you're kind of dedicating time to your writing, being around other writers, it's just a fantastic thing. You can create a retreat with your friends. So if you know a group of people that write, get a cottage somewhere, go to someone's house and create your own mini retreat. So you shut yourselves off from everything else and just do some writing together. That's really lovely. Competitions, submissions, and blogging. A great motivation for writing is submitting to competitions and journals. Competitions in particular, because of these deadlines that they have, and often they have themes. So if you've got a theme to write about a particular thing, it means you're going to have to, if you don't have writing on that topic, you're going to have to generate stuff on that topic. So look for competitions with themes. Look for journals that have open submissions or submission windows, and put that time aside to work towards writing and submitting something for those. I just think that's a great motivating factor. Regardless of acceptance or winning, just the fact that you're sending stuff out there is a great way of making sure you keep writing. If you'd like to talk more about writing poetry, I'm going to be running a Google Hangout session on the 10th of July at 2 p.m. UK time. You can sign up for it and find out more information about that workshop here. And there are more videos and Hangouts coming throughout July. These workshops are being run alongside the Pangaea Poetry Slam, which is an online poetry slam which is open to anyone around the world. So you can watch the trailer for that here, and you can find out more information about the workshops and the slam on the Pangaea Poetry website.